Welcome to a new story for a new week. My name is Will Rand, and on behalf of Earth Story, I am delighted to welcome you to this space. We at Earth Story believe two things: that every person on this planet was born with a story to share and a creative gift to offer.
I'd been to Old Growth Woodland Forest before, but I think now I knew who they were, so I could recognize
What
them
I'm
better.
doing as a photographer is I'm capturing reflected light.
We are on a journey to bring the kindling of storytelling and the spark of creativity to fuel a fire of hope, resilience, and restoration for the well-being of the whole Earth community.
And then everything started glowing red. I turned around and the most vivid sunset I think I've ever seen at the coast starts erupting.
Join us every week on Sunday evenings to experience storytelling and the creative spirit in action. We will be joined by artists, ecologists, musicians, bioengineers, chefs, and poets as we come together to mend the gap between the human community and the natural world.
There's really no better way to overcome climate anxiety than to plant a tree.
For on this planet, we are all smaller bodies on a larger, beating, breathing planetary body who has much to teach us about living. And it's about time we started listening. Welcome to the first episode of a new story for a new week. My name is Will Rand, and I am delighted that you are here. For this first episode, it is a great joy to hear the stories, music, poetry, and the thoroughly embodied wisdom of Zoe García and Lahari Indraganti. Both Zoe and Lahari have called California home in different parts of their lives and have a deep connection with the old-growth redwood forests, the tide pools on the ocean shores, and the diverse flora and fauna of the coastal mountain ranges in Central and Southern California. Lahari is a program fellow at the Beacon Hill Friends House in Boston, working on developing programming at the intersection of climate change and spirituality. Zoe is pursuing her master's in vocal performance from Sacramento State University. Today, these two inspiring souls come together to share their profound relationship with the natural world through story, song, and meditation. Let us all now take a deep breath and begin. So, Lahari, thank you so much for being here today. What I first want to ask you about is an early memory that really sparks and evokes your connection with the natural world that has so beautifully bloomed through your life up to today.
That is a really profound question for me, and in the Quaker tradition of reflective silence, I want to invite us all into taking a second to settle and have a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. I think for me, this question is so tied into this idea of who I am. So I am a settler. I'm a settler on this land, and before I even head into talking about my own background, I want to say that I'm so grateful and to the indigenous stewards of this land, of Turtle Island, who have taken care of and shaped so many of these landscapes as we know and love them. My family is Telugu. They come from the southeastern part of India. And plants have always been in my consciousness ever since I first started forming my own memories. My first memory involving plants was my grandmother making tulsi tincture for me, using tulsi from our back garden. She would make turmeric milk for sore throats, or make poultices with aloe vera if we'd had burns. Plants were just a way for her to show care for us, to show love and teach us wisdom. that she had learned from her ancestors. Even now, when I like walk around, I see things and I'm like, oh, that's what my grandma used for this. Just provides me with a sense of gratitude, and an understanding that we've always been in a symbiotic relationship with where we are. So I feel like I just couldn't get away from plants even if I tried. But I did try for a little bit. I tried to be a geneticist. I wanted to be a biologist and a mathematician. I went to college, and for the first time, I was really pulled into ecology when I went to the Liberia tar pits in Tavangar, also known as Los Angeles, for a field trip. Completely fell in love with ecology, just seeing how much things had changed, but also how much our contemporary plants look like those from tens of thousands of years ago really gave me a sense of time and place and a deep understanding of connection and ecology. As I progressed in my college journey, inching closer to my destiny of being a botanist, I took a class on California ecosystems, and as part of that class, we took a fateful trip to an old-growth redwood grove. As many people who've called California home, this wasn't going to be my first time seeing a redwood tree, nowhere close, but it was still life-changing because it would be the first time I'd really seen an old-growth redwood grove. It just completely changed my life. And I never looked back since. I've been a botanist ever since.
Wrap your arms around centuries, resilient redwoods.
The first time I saw a redwood tree, this is the part where I want to invite you into my experience. I invite you to close your eyes if you're able, bring out a notebook, pencil, jot down some reflections or observations or sensations. And when you're ready, I want you to close your eyes and really picture yourself in this old growth redwood forest. You're surrounded by air that is thick with fog. Air that smells clean and fresh. You look around you and you see ferns everywhere you step. You look around and there's tree trunks that you can't hug because they're so big. And you look up and it looks like the trees are never ending. You hear the sound of a burbling creek, of the ferns jostling in the wind, the breeze that is cool and calm, and the trees that never end, that never end. You think to yourself, this is what magnificent means. I was in such a forest, and I felt so small. Like I was everything and nothing at the same time. The trees that are taller than imagination, and the trunks that are wider than I can think. The crooks and the crags, and the little salamanders, and the ferns growing on top of trees. You were meant to be there. You were meant to see that. And it was meant to change your life. This feels like it is outside the world. Like it's a fantasy. And you pinch yourself. It's real. It's of this world. It's of your world. And you belong here. With these trees. And these ferns. And that fog. And that cool breeze. And you deserve to feel like everything and nothing at the same time. As you take a deep breath in and a gentle breath out, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? What's rising for you? Have you been to such a place? How did it make you feel? When you feel ready, return to your body and your consciousness. Open your eyes when you're able. And remember, you can always return to this place if you need to. That was my first time in an old growth redwood forest. And it's one of those moments in my life that's coated in amber. Like it's unchanged despite retelling. It just gets more fossilized in my brain as this moment of perfect harmony. And it's a place I go back to frequently when I need a moment of calm or a place of comfort. And yet, I feel it is a place that is and might soon be a place that will remain in my memory, and only in my memory. It is not lost on me that old growth redwoods remain 2% of their original habitats, that these forests are constantly under threat of being logged, of being victims of capitalist extraction. And it is not lost on me that it is each of our responsibilities to make sure they remain, both for their own sakes and all of ours.
Last month, on September 14th, in Mountain View, California, we had our first Earth Story Festival. Both Lahari and Zoe were a part of this festival. If you can imagine the late afternoon sun coming through a tall grove of redwood trees that surrounded a group of people that had been sitting for a few hours, listening to story after story, Zoe wrote a poem to close the festival. You will hear her describe the story that inspired these words. When I set the words to music for her to sing, I noticed that there was this repeating phrase, that I was awake listening. Each time that she sings this phrase, it's exactly the same. And the invitation was that the audience would actually join us and sing this phrase each time. So when you hear this piece, you will hear not only Zoe singing, but all the people who were there on that day singing with her. Perhaps the voices that you hear are not simply the voices in the space itself, but voices that might even be beyond the space itself. Perhaps yours will be one of them.
While growing up in the Bay Area, I feel very grateful to have had a childhood filled with a vast variety of natural wonders. So it is very special for me to be here today with you all and learn about how this landscape has also made an impact on your life story. That I was awake was inspired by the feeling many of us from the Bay Area know far too well. The feeling of an earthquake in the middle of the night. This piece reflects on the significant yet puzzling moment where we are unsure if we should feel fearful or in awe that we felt the earth in motion beneath us. Each of these vignettes call us to listen to what seemingly insignificant moments can teach us. I invite you to hold on to the beauty of the earth, hold on to wonder, hold on to one another, and use that inspiration as momentum towards fighting for climate justice.
enter each day between sunset and sunrise. That I was awake, listening. Taste the briny air hung round with silver. That I was awake, listening. In the lull of the night, feel the earth move, pulling on your heart as the moon pulls the sea. That I was awake, listening. Aloofness in your limbs, you wonder whether to seek refuge within yourself or extend in awe. That I was awake, listening. Feel the sharp sting of sea salt, a balm healing hidden wounds. That I was awake, listening. Cupping pink seashells to our ears. That I was awake, listening. Sing to the emptiness of the night, like a bullfrog who believes in love. That I was awake, listening. Wrap your arms around centuries, resilient redwoods who have seen the world before me and will remain long after to the earth, to the that I was awake, listening. That we are awake, listening. That we are awake, listening.
You can be a part of holding on to life on this earth by simply noticing the life around you. Who are your neighbor trees? What makes them unique? What are they called? Whether they are redwoods, cottonwoods, willows, aspens, oaks, or maples, or any of the other thousands of tree species on this planet. Simply knowing who they are and what they need is a beautiful way to start reconnecting with the more than human world. You can also research ways to support the protection and restoration of old-growth forests. There are foundations as well as state and federal land agencies that protect old-growth forests throughout the United States. You can also find local forest restoration and wildlife conservation organizations in your own community. consider connecting with them and finding ways to support their work. You will see and hear more from Zoe and Lahari in the time to come. For now, I hope you will carry their stories and wisdom with you this week. I am Will Rand, and this has been a new story for a new week, the Earth Story Podcast. Your listening presence is a gift. You can follow us on Facebook or find us on the web at midpenearthstory.org. May you have courage in the week to come and know that this earth depends upon your unfolding story.